World as we know it is in a massive transition right now. We had a similar, although very different energy at the end of 2019 when we had a Saturn Pluto conjunction. And that took about 3 to 4 months for us to really see the full effects of what was changing about our world. And we're in a very similar time period right now. Saturn takes its time. And with Neptune, a part of this conjunction we just had on Friday, there can still be some cloudiness, some fogginess of the energy of the conjunction overall. As I say in my courses and when I teach on transits in my membership, it really is hard to see fully what current transits are doing for us because we're so in it. You know, it's like when we're watching a movie and we're experiencing the movie, and then after it's over, we reflect on, oh, I really like that part of it, or like, oh, that was a really good way that they showcase that, or a good perspective, or whatever, right? It's like hindsight is 2020. And especially with this transit of Saturn and Neptune and Aries, I think it's going to be a slow build and a slow burn of what our new lives are really gearing towards, moving towards, what is starting that is new for all of us. Transitions are not linear, transitions are not instant. I'm gonna use the analogy of a move because I have moved like 50 times in the last 15 years. And every single time I'm moving today in about 3 hours. Moves are hard. Things look messy. You gotta clean up one room and then you have to organize it in boxes, and then you have to figure out, okay, well, what am I gonna like need before I actually move? Like, what am I gonna need the morning of? What am I gonna need up until the point that I actually like drive my car to the new spot? You know, it's like, it's not linear and it's not clean. What's the word I'm looking for? It's challenging. It's uncomfortable. It's messy a little bit. Transitions are rough. Transitions are hard. And we're all in a major transition right now. Especially this week, we have a Mercury retrograde beginning in Pisces. And I find it very ironic that we are all feeling this Saturn, Neptune, Aries energy in a lot of ways, and the fire horse energy in a lot of ways, but we still have a lot in Pisces at the moment before it all moves into Aries. And Mercury is going to take a little bit more time than the other planets to move into Aries because of the retrograde cycle. And so we're still in this limbo. We're still in this liminal space of moving closer and closer to what we are wanting, what we are beginning in our lives. And this next month is really going to be a test of our faith, and a test of how much can we surrender and trust that what is meant for us is coming in, even if it doesn't match the timeline we originally thought, or you know, there's some unconventional adjustments we have to make to the plan or whatever. The North Node has been in Pisces for a year. I mean, planning is just kind of unnecessary at this point, because things are aligning how they need to, and we don't always know how that's going to play out until it happens in the moment. And what we need or want finds us when it is aligned. So that is really the energy that we're in right now in general. This week is going to be a week where we are kind of forced to, or challenged to rather, take action and evolve and grow in certain ways that we've been wanting to, been needing to. Again, we can't really plan, and we have to embrace the unconventional and embrace what is the path of least resistance. Really embrace what is easy and stop trying to force something that isn't working big message right now, especially this week. We're going to have things square Uranus. Mars is going to square Uranus. That is the energy of kind of being challenged around what changes that we're making, and to really learn that if we force and we overexert ourselves, it's going to create more chaos and instability than is really necessary if we just flowed. Again, we're in Pisces season, and Mercury, Venus, and North Node are all in Pisces. Flow is the MO right now. So that's a big energy this week. We're going to have also a first quarter moon in Gemini, which again, first quarter moons, same as the rest of the energy of this week, are all about taking action. We have Mercury retrograde beginning as well on Wednesday, I believe the 25th. It will be retrograde until March 20th. And I saw a funny TikTok video from an astrology accounts the other day of the best way to navigate this Mercury retrograde in Pisces is to just pretend it doesn't exist. And honestly, I feel like Mercury in Pisces in general like gives a retrograde vibe and energy. So I really don't think this one is going to be a big deal. I mean, Mercury retrogrades in general aren't a super big deal because we have them so often, and we all know how to be prepared by them, hopefully at this point, or be prepared for them at this point. I explained this to a one-on-one client recently. Mercury retrograde doesn't stop anything. It doesn't hinder anything. It really just kind of creates a slowdown, and it creates opportunity to move more in alignment. And if something isn't working, if something is being delayed, there's probably a divine reason for that, or there's something better that is meant for you. That if this thing were not delayed, you would choose that instead of what actually is meant for you that's better than the maybe shiny object that again, feels like it's being forced. So that's really how I see Mercury retrograde. It's a recalibration. I mean, any planet retrograde, it's a recalibration. But Mercury is more specifically tied to our thoughts, our communication, our short distance travel, technology, and again, creates necessary slowdowns for us to be able to recalibrate our energy and ultimately move more in alignment, especially with it being in Pisces. And we're going to have Mercury retrogrades in water signs all year. If you're in my membership and you saw the 2026 update I did in there, I talked about this inside the class. Mercury retrogrades in water signs all year means that we are being asked to slow down in terms of how we flow and operate based on our intuitive knowing and our instinctual knowing, as well as what feelings need to be felt in those times, in those moments of introspection, so we clear anything that is maybe holding us back from something that we want. So that is the energy of this week. Is there anything I want to say about this week before we get into it? Just be careful. Just be careful out and about with Mars square Uranus. It's a really destabilizing, chaotic energy. So just be cautious when you're out and about. Pick your battles. Drive carefully. If you can avoid plane travel, avoid it. But again, it's all divine. It's fine. It's all divine. Everything is happening as it needs to, how it needs to, when it needs to for you. Is that all? As always, I'll be giving a sneak peek of next week at the end of this video, so stick around for that after you watch your horoscope. And yeah, I think that's all I want to say. So let's get into the horoscopes. Okay, Aries Rising, hi. We start your week off with the emotional focus on your money. There could be some major change with money related to long-term goals, visions, social media, community, whatever you've been stepping into and really changing there these last few months and maybe even couple years could directly challenge something about your finances, your resources, your possessions, your food, maybe even there's some emotional focus on that and really maybe taking action to evolve something between those two areas. This could look like doing something differently or launching something new in order to bring more money into your life. Now that Saturn and Neptune are in your area of you, this is a big new chapter in terms of your identity that's rippling out into every other area of your life. And that's just really going to build and build as we get more into the year. Tuesday, the emotional focus shifts into your day to day, your errands, your communication, where you're going, who you're talking to. There could be some conversation you have that kind of clears something within your subconscious. There could be a need for you to, you could be really challenged to change something about mental health, how you focus on or balance mental health with physical health. There's a lot of focus on that area of your life right now on prioritizing your mental health, dealing with subconscious stuff that maybe has been underneath the surface, plaguing you. And there's, again, an emotional need to kind of have some sort of conversation around that to clear the air with something. There could be on Wednesday some sort of emotional conversation as well that maybe triggers something about your subconscious you didn't realize was there. But again, it is kind of a further release of things that were underneath the surface, bringing it up so you can know and you can grow and clear it out of your system. The Mercury retrograde begins on Wednesday as well in your area of mental health. So there could be something about your mental health routine or practices, or maybe even spiritual creative practices that you're reevaluating and maybe wanting to change up a little bit. On Thursday, the emotional focus shifts into your home. There could be something, it could be like you're in a little bit of a hermit phase, especially this week, but definitely on Thursday when the emotional focus is in your home and on your family, there's a big need for you to just kind of maybe clean stuff up as it relates to maybe your physical home, or with, again, what's going on in your mental health. There's this big inner world focus right now for you, Aries, to really just kind of go into your psyche, into your subconscious, and maybe feel some feelings that you didn't realize were still affecting you or didn't realize were still there in whatever ways, and maybe have a good cry. Maybe have a good cry like Thursday, Friday, to really just kind of clear your emotional system and your subconscious in, again, ways that are really needed. As we head into Friday, there could be some emotional clarity that comes through that. Like as they say, the breakthrough always comes after the breakdown. It's kind of that energy for you, Aries. And we also have something majorly catapulted, or something majorly put at the forefront of what's been going on with your community, social media, long-term goals, visions, as it relates to what you want to change about your money. There's, those two areas may be conflicting each other in some way, but again, it forces you to kind of catapult yourself in a new direction and evolve something about those two areas as well to ultimately be in more alignment. On Saturday, the emotional focus shifts onto your creative passions, but it's also putting some tension on your ability to majorly change something about social media, your community, your long-term goals and visions. This could be like a rubber band snapping moment where you are kind of fed up with something, and really realizing, I need to head in another direction. I really need to create this thing. I really need to share this thing. It feels like the energy on Saturday of a lot of breakthroughs as we end out February. That's kind of what it feels like is a major focus for you. And like I said, the emotional drive is really on your passions and what you're creating and putting out into the world that's purely fun and joyful for you. So there's a huge emphasis on that as well. And on Sunday, that continues. There could be something healing that comes from that as well around your sense of self or identity. There could be this, as we end out the week, this renewed sense of you and of how you're choosing to view yourself and acting in accordance with this new sense of self and identity that has been building. It feels more solid than maybe it ever has before. So that's your week ahead, Aries. Let me know how that resonates in the comments. I'd love to hear from y'all on how these are resonating with you. So let me know, and I will see you next week. Hi, Taurus Rising. We start your week off with the emotional focus on you, on your sense of self, your identity. Maybe there's this really big sense of emotional change. There could also be something that directly conflicts that or challenges that in your career or your public image. There's a lot of momentum in both areas. They're just showing up differently. In career, it's a lot of like, okay, I'm doing this, I'm doing it now, and with you, it's kind of a little bit of feeling unstable or feeling like you've changed so much. Like you might not recognize who you are anymore is kind of the energy. And something really clicks in around that on Monday. As we get into Tuesday, the emotional focus shifts into your money, your resources. There could be something you're taking action on as it relates to that, that maybe is conflicting with what's going on in your community, with social media, your long-term goals or visions in whatever way. Feels like there's just some need to really change something up and evolve something there. And you might be led to do that through something that feels challenging or conflicting. On Wednesday, there could be some sort of conversation you need to have related to that, or that you do have that maybe challenges you emotionally with money or resources or possessions, and really kind of maybe solidifies in something that some direction that you're headed with your goals, your community, how you want to serve your community, or how you want to show up on social media. It feels like there's something majorly solidifying as it relates to that. Although with the Mercury retrograde we have beginning as well, you might be reevaluating long-term goals, and how you're expressing ideas related to that or to your community or on social media. But I do feel like there's still a lot of action and momentum that's happening there for you, as well as there is the opportunity to reevaluate and refine your message or how you're sharing yourself with the world. Thursday, the emotional focus shifts onto your day-to-day errands, who you're talking to, where you're going on a daily basis. There's a big need as well to get more clear on your ways that you support yourself and take care of yourself moving forward, maybe even around communication, like how you talk to yourself. That could be something that comes up Thursday and Friday as well. Maybe needing to have like a conversation with yourself about something to get clear on whatever it is that you're doing, that whatever direction you're headed, maybe in meditation or something like that, or you need to like go out into nature and really just connect with your intuition in a higher sense, in a higher way. As well, on Friday, there's challenges between what you're doing in career and maybe work, or what you're building within your public reputation or image. And again, the changes that are happening with you. So it feels like on Friday, there's this moment, or maybe Friday just in general feels really frustrating because it's like, okay, I'm trying to do this thing, but I feel like there's something within me that I have to step into in order to do it. It's kind of like stepping into this greater sense of worthiness and value within yourself, to have more success or ease with the changes that you're making or where you're headed with career. Big moment around that on Friday. Saturday, the emotional focus shifts into your home. This might be the energy of kind of wanting to hermit again, like spending more time with yourself to just really go deep into what is still within your subconscious or psyche that maybe is like causing reoccurring things that don't feel super good. It could provide you with some breakthroughs as well as it relates to what's going on with career. There could also be supportive people that are helping you with this too. Or maybe you need to like call people in order to have more support during this kind of unstable and chaotic like weekend it feels for you, Taurus. But it's like it provides you with clarity and answers. It's again, it's that energy of like the breakthrough, maybe after a little bit of a breakdown. So that's how we end out your week, Taurus. Let me know how that resonates in the comments. I love to hear from y'all on how accurate these are for you. So let me know, and I will see you next week. Hi, Gemini Rising. We start your week off with the emotional focus on your subconscious. There could be something really deep within your inner world that's shifting at this time, maybe feels really destabilizing. And it could directly challenge your belief systems or how you're viewing life. And it could really force you challenge you to evolve the ways that you're viewing the world around you, and related to maybe like conditioning from childhood or even friends. Um, it's a really deep look this week at what's going on in your subconscious and in your mindset um, around what you're doing and how you're moving forward in new ways. As we head into Tuesday, the emotional focus shifts onto you, your sense of self, your identity, and directly challenges what's going on in your career. So there could almost feel like an identity crisis with career or related to career, or some changes you want to make there, what direction you've been headed with it. It could kind of feel like also you're a little bit more sensitive than normal, and that's maybe conflicting with what's going on in career or challenging it in some way, like your ability to step in some new direction. And it really is this energy of needing to act from like who you want to be, not thinking of it as like, oh, I need to have this before I can be this. It's like, no, be it first. That's really this energy that Tuesday kind of brings about for you and maybe produces some breakthroughs around. That continues into Wednesday. There could be some sort of conversation you have about career or with somebody from career, or through your reputation or something, conversation that you have that's a little bit of an emotional nature, and it could really help with that solidifying in of a new identity, or really stepping more into some new version of you that's really more aligned with where you're headed and where you're going and all these kind of changes that are happening. It also kind of feels like you might be finding more peace at this time, and choosing to be a little bit more mutable or adaptable than you had previously about things, especially what's going on in career or with money. Thursday, the emotional focus shifts onto your money, and it feels like there's some harmony that comes about with money and career in some way, whether that's feeling emotionally driven to act on something to bring in more money, or what have you. There's a big illumination of a new direction you're headed with career, and building an image for yourself or reputation in some new way, or with some new project. But at the same time, Thursday and Friday, um, there could be something really emotionally heightened about money Thursday and Friday. And also there's challenges again with like your subconscious and your belief systems and how you're viewing life. And I feel like this is kind of the energy of being, like, those rock tumblers. It's kind of the energy of like being in the rock tumbler, and you're getting like smooth and polished, but it's not fun while you're in there. It's uncomfortable. It's challenging. It feels a little bit, unstable, because you're unearthing things that maybe you didn't realize were there, but it's helping you to again be more smooth and polished and like at peace with your life, and be more like embrace more of your mutability side. On Friday, there could also be related to that, maybe a conversation you have again with someone from career, or from your like through your reputation, that positively supports money in some way. There could be a conversation you have as well, maybe around money or career, that supports you seeing things differently and more fully stepping into this new version of you related to like your inner foundations. As we head into Saturday, the emotional focus shifts into your day to day, your errands that you're running, where you're going, who you're talking to. So there's a big focus on maybe having conversations with people that really spark your joy and really help you solidify in these changes, and give you maybe even more clarity or transformation around them. Excuse me, as we move into the rest of the year. It's kind of like you're building your foundation right now in order to really have this and build this new life um, throughout this year as we move forward into it. So that is your week ahead, Gemini. Let me know how that resonates with you, and I will see you next week. Hi, Cancer Rising. We start your week off with the emotional focus on your community, long term goals, visions. There could be something emotionally illuminated about what you're changing in that area. But it kind of challenges resources, it challenges your vulnerability. It challenges maybe something about like other people's money, debt, taxes, inheritances, investments, anything like that. There could also be something you're realizing you want to do differently with your money. Um, Invest it or pay off debt differently or something related to that, and how your vision for your life and maybe community even or social media is evolving and changing for you related to that. But it feels like there's like those two areas are butting heads, but it forces you to evolve something in some way that's ultimately more helpful for you. As we head into Tuesday, this is the energy of really big mindset shifts. There's some need for you to maybe be more disciplined with a spiritual practice or something that allows you to take better care of your mental health. You really kind of need to talk things through in order to process subconscious stuff. So it's like there might be something you're taking action on related to that on Tuesday in order to get more emotional clarity around what's going on underneath the surface within your subconscious. Wednesday, there's a good opportunity for that as well. There could be some helpful conversation you have with somebody related to like your worldview, your belief systems. This is a great day to really kind of emotionally go underneath the surface and see, okay, what maybe have I been avoiding feeling that's maybe coming out in ways I don't enjoy, and how can I just hold space for myself to feel it now or have a conversation with myself, maybe through journaling or meditation, or again, maybe soundboarding with like AI or something or a therapist, in order to really go deep into your belief system and your perspective and step into a new direction there. I mean, it's something that's been building for you, Cancer, over the last year of really seeing life differently or viewing life differently, changing your perspective, your philosophies of life, your belief systems, to step into some new way of living. And so there's a lot of emphasis on that Tuesday and Wednesday. As we head into Thursday, this is the energy of an emotional renewal. The emotional focus moves from your subconscious and your inner world onto you. You might also be feeling a little bit more sensitive on Thursday, but I also feel like there's this clicking in and solidifying in of some new mindset that really shifts like how you view the world around you, how you present yourself to the people that you interact with, and just how you kind of carry yourself through the world. Might experience an integration and a further embodiment on Thursday. As we head into Friday, there's some whatever came up earlier in the week on Monday, with debt, taxes, resources, vulnerability, and community or long-term goals. It gets a kind of unignorable amplification. There could be something between those two areas that really clicks into place, like a breakthrough that is maybe comes through a major challenge or conflict you experience in those areas of your life in order to really evolve and grow something, um, that maybe like there had been maybe a little bit of avoidance around. And as we end out the week, it's like you can no longer ignore it. You have to really move in some new direction in a major way with this. And there could be a helpful conversation you have. Again, there's a lot of like support for you, Cancer, this week, either through people or giving yourself support in the ways that you need, to feel things, to look at things, to maybe really ask yourself the hard questions, to gauge what is true for you, like what really sits on your heart to do and move forward with. So um there's something major about that. And then as we get into the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, the emotional focus is on your money and doing something joyful for money or bringing money in a way that really is more fun for you, or doing more fun things with your money, how you make it, however it shows up for you. It really is about kind of bringing more joy into your experience with your money, your possessions, and seeing your worth in a new way related to this big identity expansion that's been happening for you. So that is your week ahead, Cancer Rising. Let me know how that resonates in the comments. I love to hear from y'all on how accurate these are for you. So let me know, and I will see you next week. Bye. Hi, Leo Rising. We start your week off with the emotional focus on your career. There could be some big, sudden, unexpected change with career, maybe related to somebody in your life, a relationship. Maybe this is somebody that you just met or somebody you've known for a while that like you hadn't talked to, and they just kind of come out of the woodwork with an opportunity related to career. That's kind of the energy. And it kind of forces you to embrace a little bit of unconventionality, a little bit of like, okay, this is not what I expected, but actually it feels really good kind of thing. And it might really challenge you in ways that are going to be beneficial for you moving forward, even though it is kind of like a whoa, like it kind of surprises you in a good way, but it also might be challenging in other ways. And that's gonna kind of build all week. Um, As we head into Tuesday, the emotional focus shifts onto your community, your friendships, long term goals, visions, and directly challenges something about resources, debt, taxes, investments, maybe vulnerability or intimacy as well. Some new direction you've been headed there for the last year. There's something that you're really challenged to evolve, something that you're really challenged to change as it relates to those two areas of your life. That's also where we're going to have the Mercury retrograde for you, Leo, is in your area of resources, other people's money, vulnerability, intimacy, like the deep kind of subconscious stuff and transforming it. So there's a lot of conflict, like emotionally conflicting energy put on that area this at the start of this week, especially on Wednesday. There might be some conversation you need to have related to that. That kind of forces you again. This week is really about evolving into what's easier, as I talked about in the beginning of the video, evolving into the path of least resistance. Instead of trying to force something that's just not working, it's like, okay, what is coming in around you? What is the universe trying to like kind of push you in the direction of or bring into your life? And there might just be this need to like see it differently or view it differently if there's been resistance around it mentally of like, okay, why am I resisting this thing? Or why don't I want to go this direction? If that's like what is really presenting itself, it's probably meant for you. And there might just be some mental like fuckery you're putting yourself in around it, and a need to really kind of look at that and establish what that is so you can grow and evolve it. Thursday, the emotional focus shifts into your subconscious. There might be a little bit of hermiting energy as we end out the week for you, Leo, of like needing to go within, whether meditation or therapy session or with ChatGPT, whatever it is, like needing to kind of look at what's going on underneath the surface and maybe talk it out. Of like, okay, what is actually going on here? What's the root of this? How can I shift it and so that it doesn't keep reoccurring? And then on Friday, we have a pretty big energy between whatever was coming up on Monday in your relationships and your career. That, you know, these two areas are really challenging each other to force you to evolve in some way. And maybe embrace some unconventional aspect of whatever's going on for you. Again, like it might be different than how you envisioned it, but it might ultimately be better for you. Than what you could have envisioned for yourself. There could also be on Friday another conversation that you have emotionally, either with yourself or with somebody in your life, that really helps you to clear out these internal blocks or anything still residual in your subconscious that maybe has been causing repetitive patterns. And as we head into the weekend, Saturday, the emotional focus shifts onto you. There's a sense of emotional renewal, and there's a big need to really prioritize your joy moving forward in life. I've been saying this about the Saturn Neptune conjunction. I've been saying this about the fire horse year that we're in now. You know, things are moving really quickly, and they're going to continue to like just ramp up. Like it's a slow burn, but things get faster and faster as the year progresses. And at the foundation of all of that is, are you doing what you love? Are you really doing things that bring you joy on a daily basis? And that's what needs to be prioritized. And anything that, that doesn't match up with that doesn't match up with your excitement or your joy, needs to go. So that's how you end out the week, Leo. Let me know how that resonates in the comments. I love to hear from y'all on how accurate these are for you. So let me know, and I will see you next week. Hi, Virgo Rising. We start your week off with the emotional focus on your perspective, on your mindset. There could be something really majorly destabilizing within just your belief systems or how you viewed life and the world around you that may be directly challenging work, what's going on with work or health, or your ability to maybe balance those two things. Those two areas of your life, like work and health. Maybe there's been a lot of struggle to not burn out, or to really yeah, just make sure you're prioritizing both those things kind of equally, and not being a little bit being too extreme on one end or the other. And on Monday there could be something emotionally challenging that comes up around that. As we head into Tuesday, the emotional focus shifts onto your career. There could be some positive change with career or what you're doing as it relates to your reputation, your image, and as well as what you're changing about your day-to-day work and routine. And again, kind of bringing in this better work-life balance, maybe, or work health balance. Feels like a big energy on Tuesday, and especially Wednesday. But Wednesday there could be something, Tuesday as well, there could be something that comes up with relationships in regards to career, that maybe those areas kind of feel like they're challenging one another, or there's this need to really take action on moving in a new direction to evolve something about those two areas, maybe, so there is more balance. I don't know why this is a theme for you this week, Virgo, but it feels like balance is a big theme of like, okay, how do I balance what I'm doing in career with what's going on in relationships, and how do I balance relationships with what's going on in career? It kind of feels like this big, like you're on a seesaw, and there's a need to like figure out how to get off of it, and have more harmony and balanced energies, and all these different areas. As we head into Thursday, the emotional focus shifts onto your community, your long-term goals, visions, social media maybe as well, and harmonizes with what's going on in your relationship. So there could be some maybe challenging conversations you had to have earlier in the week, but as the week kind of progresses, those become more harmonious conversations, in terms of like speaking up for yourself and your needs, maybe realizing like what people are going to support you versus what are not through those conversations. Maybe it feels like there's a lot of harmony between just who's around you at this time. And maybe realizing like, okay, I actually don't want to have this type of person around me, but I want to have this type like of person. And it's really getting a lot of clarity as we end out the week, related to like what has felt challenging previously. But also on Friday, there's a big amplification of some evolution that needs to happen with your work, your health, and mindset, or how you're viewing life, kind of higher knowledge, higher learning, your worldview, your perspective, your belief systems. There's a lot of pressure to evolve something around that. And those two areas, your work and your perspective, might really be directly challenged on Friday. But again, it's forcing you to evolve something, kind of maybe see something differently. There's a lot of harmony again as we end out the week too, through your connections in your relationships. So that might be the people that you're leaning on at this time to really have the support you need when things feel challenging or conflicting. As we head into Saturday, the emotional focus moves on into your subconscious. There's a big need as well to maybe go within and go maybe do a like a analysis of your life on like, okay, does this thing bring me joy? No. Well, okay, I need to like prioritize what brings me joy. Does this thing bring me joy? Yes. Okay, well, I'm going to do more of that in my life. It's really like this inner I see you really going through this inner process of like, okay, what brings me joy? What doesn't? How can I do more of what brings me joy in work and health and relationships, and really prioritizing that. So you might be spending more time over the weekend in meditation, reflecting on that kind of thing in order to implement it moving forward. So that is your week ahead, Virgo. Let me know how that resonates in the comments. I'd love to hear from y'all on how these resonate for you. So let me know, and I will see you next week. Hi, Libra Rising. We start your week off with the emotional focus on your resources, on other people's money, on investments, taxes, debt, inheritance, their vulnerability and intimacy as well. So there could be something on Monday really emotionally heightened in that area of your life that maybe you're realizing you really want to change or need to change, maybe related to dating, maybe related to creative projects or passions as well. Whatever you've been changing about that area is really getting, there's just a lot of momentum and amplification towards changing both of these areas in your life in order to be more in harmony with what you want moving forward, and how you're letting those areas support you and how you're supporting them. As we head into Tuesday, the emotional focus shifts onto your perspective, your mindset. So there might be this need to really shift something about how you view life, your belief systems, kind of, starting to view more and more the cup half full. Is that the positive, the positive expression of that? That's the energy. It's like there's something you need to shift about how you're viewing the world around you, and maybe just further integrating it and embodying it and doing a little bit more cleanup work in these areas that maybe had kind of more like how do I say, had a tendency to fall negative. It's like you're choosing to really put more effort into viewing it differently, and moving forward in that perspective of your life. There's a lot of momentum and illumination as well on your area of work this week. So you might be having a busy work week, or just putting more energy into what new direction you're headed with work. Especially Tuesday and Wednesday, there's a lot of focus on evolving what you're doing and really taking action towards it this week. And maybe on Tuesday and Wednesday as well, you have some conversations with people that are helpful around work or with coworkers, or you get creatively inspired to do something or share something as it relates to work, or maybe health even, in your routine and kind of what's going on there, and again, move in a new direction with it. As we head into Thursday, the emotional focus moves on into your area of career, your public reputation and image, what you're building there, how you're choosing to really expand within your reputation or your career in various ways. There could be a lot of creative inspiration as well Thursday and Friday, but also we have that whatever came up on Monday is getting a revisitation on Friday. So there could be something really challenging on Friday that happens between your creative passions or projects and what's going on with your resources or other people's money. There could be a positive change with that as well, and maybe getting more clarity on like what you want to do and how you want to move forward in both of those areas of your life. Maybe launching something or really putting more energy into creating something and feeling like, okay, this is what I need to do and I need to prioritize it, kind of thing. There could also on Friday be something a little bit triggering within a relationship. Somebody in your life could trigger you in some way and it could challenge your ability to emotionally focus on your career. But it could also inspire you to kind of release that trigger through your career in some way. Like it could, again, kind of inspire you or motivate you to share something, or do something in career maybe differently. There's a lot of opportunity for motivation and like inspiration with work and career as we end out the week for you. Saturday, the emotional focus shifts into your long-term goals, visions, and really realizing how much you need to align yourself with joy, and really do what comes natural, do what comes easy, do what is fun for you, like what really just feels good, and keeps you in a high vibration is really the energy, as we end out the week and as we head into March. Really is the energy of like, okay, does this bring me joy? No. Then I have to stop doing it. Does this bring me joy? Yes. Okay, I need to find a way to do more and more and more of it, right? So that's really the energy as we end out your week, Libra. So I'm excited for you. Let me know how that resonates in the comments. I'd love to hear from y'all on how accurate these are for you. So let me know, and I will see you next week. Hi, Scorpio Rising. We start your week off with the emotional focus on your relationships. There could be some major change that happens within a relationship or just in general. This doesn't have to be romantic. It can be anyone in your life. There's a big focus on shifting something emotionally around either who you're spending time around or a relationship in general of like maybe needing to speak up for yourself more. Maybe even this relates to family or home. There's a lot of friction, a lot of conflict and challenges between what's going on in home that you're changing or with family that you're changing and what's going on with the relationships that's changing as well. Those two areas are like massively changing and also kind of challenging each other, so that you maybe evolve and kind of do something a little bit unconventional in those 2 areas as well. Like, there's something about that, like, maybe needing to think outside of the box in order to not keep, uh, hitting your head against a wall in those areas of your life. As we head into Tuesday, the emotional focus shifts onto your resources, debt, taxes, vulnerability, intimacy, the inner psyche, transformation. So there's this emotional focus all of a sudden on maybe going really deep within yourself in order to change something that maybe kind of directly challenges what's going on with dating or what's going on with children or your creative passions. There might be something you're like, okay, I really need to do this. I really need to step in this new direction. In order to have the ability to pay off debt or the ability to invest in the ways that I want or whatever it is. It's like these areas are feeding each other, but they're also challenging each other so that you evolve them. A lot of energy, a lot of that energy this week. If you haven't picked up on that yet from the introduction, is like, okay, what do we need to evolve? So that we can kind of move forward on a solid foundation for ourselves. There might be conversations as well you have this week or need to have this week, Scorpio, at the beginning of the week, especially Tuesday, maybe of an emotional nature, maybe kind of getting really vulnerable about something in your life in order to move in the direction that you really want to. As we head into Wednesday, the emotional focus shifts onto your perspective, your mindset, directly challenges something that's happening or some new beginning that is emerging for you with work or with health. There's something that's coming up within your belief systems around that and how you're moving forward or maybe putting something off. And there's a need for you to really not put it off anymore, to really not procrastinate it. And so the energy is like, what in me is keeping me from doing this, even though I really want it, or I know it would be good for me? Like, what is stopping me from doing it? Again, it's really going within your Scorpio rising. Like, you constantly have to reinvent and transform yourself. So there's a big need for you to focus on that this week and really maybe spend some time alone or in whatever helps you to be in your muse state or whatever, in order to really look at what's going on underneath the surface and shift it so you can really do what you want to do and move in the direction you've been heading probably for the last couple years, or wanting to head the last couple years. It's like, this is the week. You can't put it off anymore. And it's kind of like it will create, the longer you put it off, it will create more and more chaos. On Thursday, there could be something that really is illuminated about your belief system and mindset emotionally for you to look at and shift. As we head into Friday, it feels like, again, there's maybe these identity wounds that come up around what you're stepping into with work or health. There's also this illumination of whatever came up on Monday. It's unignorable on Friday. It's like there's challenges between what's going on with home or family and what's going on in relationships. And again, there's this need to really make a major change. Later on Friday and into the weekend, Saturday, the emotional focus shifts onto your career, shifts onto your image, your reputation, what you're building there as it relates to what's actually joyful for you and what new beginning you're headed. That feels more aligned with you and your joy and your passions and maybe your creative pursuits or spiritual pursuits that are much more aligned with you moving forward. So you kind of end out the week with this breakthrough or this renewed sense of like, okay, here we go. I'm doing the thing. That's what it feels like. So let me know how that resonates with you, Scorpio. I love to hear from y'all on how accurate these are for you. So let me know in the comments, and I'll see you next week. Hi, Sagittarius Rising. We start your week off with the emotional focus on your mindsets. It's really on how are you viewing the world around you? What needs to change? Maybe as it relates to, or especially as it relates to your relationships, there could be something emotionally destabilizing that happens in a relationship or with somebody in your life. Doesn't have to be romantic. It could be anyone that's not you. But there's some need to really change what's going on there, and it may be directly challenging your ability to do something you want to do um, within your home or within it's really going to challenge you to communicate yourself in ways that maybe you shied away from before. This could also challenge something about work, especially on Monday. There's like direct challenges between your ability to communicate yourself or share ideas and information and what's going on with your health, your routines, your work life. There's a big need for you to just kind of emotionally clear whatever is there, maybe again related to a relationship, in order to transform it. And then as we head into Tuesday, it does feel like there's, the emotional focus moves on from work and routine into relationships. And so there's more of a focus on that in the middle of the week. And it directly harmonizes with the change that's occurring within your communication, your mindset, your belief systems, right? So there's a lot of support, maybe from relationships, in helping you to move in this new direction. Even though there are challenges with what you're doing on a daily basis, there might be a lot of like busyness, like a lot going on in your day to day. And it's kind of like challenging your ability to step into a routine that you've been wanting to, or that has been evolving for you over the last 7 years with work or with health, and balancing those two areas of your life. It's like there might be a lot of kind of like, okay, how do I navigate this? What do I need to change or evolve in order to really have more balance or harmony with these two areas of my life? And then it feels like Tuesday and Wednesday, there's a lot of focus on kind of shifting something as it relates to a relationship, maybe related to home or family, what's going on with home or your inner world. Even there could be some big emotional release from somebody in your life, or through the support of somebody in your life, to really look at some childhood wound and see it differently and shift it so it doesn't keep showing up in the same ways. As we head into Thursday, the emotional focus shifts onto your resources, your vulnerability, your intimacy, and it harmonizes with what's going on in your inner world and your home, family, maybe childhood stuff. So there's this kind of big clearing that could happen on Thursday, around whatever earlier in the week felt really challenging, um, with your belief systems and with these kind of old ways of being or these old identity things. But also, that emotional focus on Thursday could challenge something in dating or romance or with creative passions, just temporarily. It kind of feels like a conflict or a temporary emotional setback. On Friday, the emotional focus is still on your resources and on your debt, taxes, vulnerability, intimacy. There could be something that you get emotional clarity around about that, and maybe something within, again, further in your psyche, your subconscious, related to childhood or family, or home life, really clears in a big way. And on Friday, there's also this unignorable conflict between needing to speak up for yourself and change something in your health or your routine or your work life, in order to be, again, more balanced in both of those areas. So it really doesn't feel super good or comfortable, but it's like ultimately it forces you to change something so that you are operating more in alignment moving forward. Saturday, the emotional focus moves onto your mindsets, your perspective, your higher perspective. Your belief systems again get a reevaluation, and there's a big need for you to focus on making changes to how you view the world around you in terms of like what actually brings me joy and how can I do more of that. This is a big collective theme as well. Um, but especially for you, Sagittarius, because it's in your area of mindset and communication and really bringing up themes related to that. So there could be something that you have by the end of the week, a major breakthrough around as it relates to work or health or communication styles um, that you are realizing you need to change so you can really embody more of what is a true passion for you moving forward. So that's your week ahead, Sagittarius. Let me know how that resonates in the comments. I love to hear from you on how these are accurate for you. So let me know, and I will see you next week. Hi, Capricorn Rising. We start the week off with the emotional focus on your creative passions, dating, romance. Maybe there's something you really need to embrace or change as it relates to that area of your life that's more in alignment with what feels good, what's more in alignment with what you want to embody moving forward. It could also directly challenge something about money or resources, or maybe there's just some like challenging energy in those two areas of your life that feel like they're conflicting each other, but it is propelling you to evolve. And like I said, do more things that actually bring you joy, that actually feel good, and are what more of what you want in your life moving forward. As we head into Tuesday, the emotional focus shifts onto your day to day work, routine, health, how you're taking care of yourself. There could be a really big need for you to act on something in those areas to bring more balance or harmony into how you communicate yourself, how you share ideas and information, maybe again related to work, or like speaking up for yourself and your needs more so in order to take better care of your physical health. As we head into Wednesday, there could be some conversation you need to have with someone as it relates to work or health, or again, just kind of like mm, speaking up for yourself in ways that maybe you would have avoided before. There's also a lot of positive momentum towards your emotional focus on health or work and what's going on with money. So, if there were challenges with money earlier in the week, this could be kind of when they resolve. It could be related somehow to some conversation you have, maybe like really clearing the air or sharing some idea or information of a creative or spiritual nature that maybe you like had suppressed before. And now you're like, no, I just need to like let this loose and let this flow more than I did in the past. Curious to know how that shows up for you, exactly, Capricorn, because that's really specific, but it feels like there's almost this energy this week for you of like breaking free from an old version of you, from an old, like outdated forms of communication. Um, yeah, interesting. As we head into Thursday, the emotional focus moves on into your relationship. So there's a big just emotional drive to maybe surround yourself with people who actually support you, that might be part of this new speaking up for yourself or this new way of sharing your ideas or information that is different from how you did previously. It's like, okay, maybe you have more support around what you're doing moving forward. And so you feel better stepping into it. You feel better expressing it. You feel more ease or flow with expressing your ideas and sharing your creations because you have more support emotionally from the people around you. So there's a huge focus on that on Thursday, although it could temporarily challenge something about home or family. Then, as we head into Friday, there's an emotional expansion with relationships. So, your relationships feel really supportive for you at this time, the people you have around you. But there's also something that came up Monday that's being amplified on Friday with money, with creative passions, and with maybe something, again, that's evolving there, something that's changing with those two areas of your life that feel like they've been challenging each other for the past week or so. There could be a breakthrough that comes around that as well of like, okay, this is what I realize I need to change moving forward. There could maybe be a helpful conversation you have with someone that inspires that as well. Saturday, the emotional focus moves into your resources, your area of debt, taxes, inheritances, investments. vulnerability and intimacy as well. So there could be some big change that happens emotionally with that and money. It could feel like this inner revolution. I don't know why I'm getting that word, but this inner revolution around resources and money and self-worth. Maybe just starting to really see your worth and yourself differently. And thus your relationship with money and money itself changing as a result. So that is your week ahead, Capricorn. Let me know how that resonates in the comments. I'd love to hear from y'all on how accurate these are for you. So let me know, and I will see you next week. Hi, Aquarius Rising. We start your week off with the emotional focus on your home and family. There could be something about that or your inner world, even maybe childhood stuff that is going through a big emotional upheaval. And it could be directly challenging or conflicting with what's changing about you or what you're moving forward with in terms of your identity and sense of self. There's a lot of momentum and drive towards you and changing something about you, your identity, your appearance. But it could, again, like I said on Monday, directly challenge what's going on emotionally in home or family, forcing you to kind of evolve or grow those areas in some way. As we head into Tuesday, the emotional focus moves into your creative passions, romance, dating. There could be some positive emotional support from that area that is helping you to really kind of transform your sense of self or identity or solidifying more so that in. But there could just be, again, all week, this maybe feeling of instability in home or I don't know, something that feels sudden or unexpected with home, that's kind of rocking your identity or appearance in some way. I don't know, there's harmony, but there's also conflicts and challenges, and it's like, okay, how do I balance all of this? How do I move forward in a way that's more beneficial? But despite that, there is a lot of positive, like I said, there's a lot of positive momentum in other areas and other ways. And on Tuesday, there's a lot of positive momentum towards evolving something about money and related to your creativity, related to how you're sharing your creative passions and ideas, and like moving in a big new direction with it. There's a need to really take action on something as it relates to that extends into Wednesday. And there could be some maybe emotionally challenging conversation you have to have about money with somebody in your life. But it also feels like that helps you to realize what needs to change or evolve for you to feel better about these things moving forward. Thursday, the emotional focus moves into your work, your routine, your physical health. So there's a lot of positive momentum towards that and money and what's going on with that. There's a lot of expansion and work happening for you, even though it's more inward expansion at this time around work. This could look like a lot of more inspiration or motivation coming in around what you're doing for money and how you're doing it, and how you're remembering to take care of yourself along the way as well. But there could be something, again, some kind of conversation you have to have that's maybe vulnerable emotionally as well, that forces you to evolve something around, again, how you're sharing yourself and your ideas and information and putting it out there into the world. Friday, whatever came up on Monday gets a big amplification with you, with home and family. Those two areas are like really directly challenging each other Friday. And again, it's forcing you to evolve in ways that are needed moving forward. So you're actually doing things more in alignment for your future and what actually feels better for you moving forward. And still on Friday, there's a lot of support with work, with money, emotionally. So there also might be like coworkers or people you have around you that are supporting you as well, especially as we get into the weekend. The emotional focus shifts into your relationship. So there might be supportive people coming in over the weekend that maybe you're spending more time with, that really help you with these conflicts, so the challenges you're experiencing in these other areas, maybe to integrate them, and to just feel more embodied in what you're doing and how you're moving forward. So that is your week ahead, Aquarius. Let me know how that resonates in the comments. Love to hear from y'all on how accurate these are for you. So let me know, and I will see you next week. Hi, Pisces Rising. We start your week off with the emotional focus on your communication. There could be something on Monday that comes up emotionally that kind of brings up a need for you to share yourself or communicate with someone about something that maybe like triggered something in your subconscious, or it's kind of like, if someone did something that you don't love, you got to speak up for yourself about it, right? And that's kind of the energy. Is it might be challenging, it might be uncomfortable, but it will it will heal you, and it will help you evolve and grow and mature in ways that are needed to further solidify in this identity shift you've been having and experiencing over the past few years. As we head into Tuesday, the emotional focus moves into your home and family. There could be this big release emotionally related to subconscious wounds or childhood stuff within home, within family, that also directly challenges what's going on with you. And there's a big illumination of you, your identity, your sense of self at this time. And so there could be this realization on Tuesday of what needs to evolve, maybe related to like your foundations and maybe your inner world, your inner talk, your inner communication, as well as how you're communicating outwardly to have your needs met in things and things. Wednesday, the emotional focus in your home and your family is directly challenging your ability to communicate yourself. There might be, again, these difficult conversations you need to have that, like it's really the energy of, um, is it healthier? Is it more beneficial to like not communicate and sit in resentment around something and then have that come out in weird ways with somebody? Or is it easier to actually speak up for yourself and like have the conversation? Even though it's uncomfortable in the moment, it is more healing. So that's kind of how I see Wednesday showing up for you. Is there might again be some kind of hard conversation you have to have with somebody, but it does kind of propel you into a further cycle of healing within your inner world, even though it's uncomfortable in the moment. Thursday, the emotional focus shifts into your creative passions, dating, romance. There's a lot of expansion happening there for you, so there could be a lot of ideas and breakthroughs flowing. Although there could be something early on Thursday that's maybe emotionally challenging about that and what's going on with money. There could be a big need for you to maybe have firm boundaries with money related to what's going on with creativity or dating or romance, but it's a kind of temporary emotional thing. And really, the biggest focus at the end of the week is on feeling better about what you're doing and creating what direction you're headed with everything, especially, excuse me, feeling more embodied in your sense of self and identity. And really trusting your intuition as it relates to that as well. It's really this more embodied sense of you. As we head into Friday, whatever came up on Monday gets a further amplification within your areas of communication and the subconscious. So there could be this really big breakthrough that happens within those two areas that is challenging, that's uncomfortable, but it does kind of propel you into this new cycle with all of those things. And again, resets your foundation. Your nervous system maybe even like really heals something about that, even though it is in the moment challenging or conflicting or, like I said, uncomfortable. It does ultimately heal you in a major way, um almost like a fog lifts or something. And two, as we end out the week, I mean, again, the focus really is on this, like there's a little bit of challenges, but there's a lot of harmony between you and what you're creating in your work, and what you're doing on a daily basis to support yourself in your work and creative passions, and what direction you've been heading with all of those things. And especially as we get into Saturday, I mean, the emotional focus shifts into your work, your routine, and it puts the focus on what you're doing with that's more aligned with your joy, that's more aligned with your passions moving forward. Really, we end out the week with this sense of like, okay, I really released all the shit, and now I can like be free of what was holding me back. There's a big transformation as we end out the week, head into March. So that is your week ahead, Pisces. Let me know how that resonates in the comments. Love to hear from y'all. on how accurate these are for you. So let me know, and I will see you next week. Well, next week we have an eclipse in Virgo. So, whatever kind of started for you 6 months ago could be coming to a fruition, a manifestation, a culmination with this eclipse in Virgo that we have on March 3rd. March is a big month, and it really all begins with this eclipse and kind of finalizing something majorly in our life that we have been refining, that we've been releasing, that we've been doing a lot of work around. So we can head into this new direction and really have our new life with nothing from the past left behind. And that, let me tell you, the clean out, I should just call it the great clean out, because that's the great purge is really what we've all been in. And it finalizes with this full moon in Virgo is really what it feels like. We have Mars moving into Pisces next week, and giving us so much Pisces energy. Really, we're going to be in the ethers, but it allows us to embrace more of our creative passions, our creative side, our spiritual side, so we can really flow into these changes in a way that is ultimately aligned for us moving forward. So I see all of this as a good thing. It's really kind of laying more solid and aligned energetic foundations for us. Like, really right now is all about staying in the frequency of joy as much as you possibly can, and always remembering to coming back to that, and not holding out on your joy now because you don't have what you want. Right, it's been a big theme for me lately, is like, oh well, I don't have the perfect house that I want yet, or like I'm still like moving from furnished rental to furnished rental, and it's blah blah blah. And it's like, well, I can be grateful and joyous that I have somewhere to stay right now, and tonight and tomorrow, right? And it's like, I don't have to hold out on feeling good because I don't have the ultimate version of what I want yet. So that's really this energy, is again kind of laying this energetic framework and foundation, in order for us to feel good moving forward. And that is, that's what attracts everything, all the good stuff to us. So yeah, we have that to look forward to next week. So many good things happening in March. I'm so freaking excited. And yeah, I'll see y'all there. Thanks for watching. Bye.